everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. It's your 9th Walker Season 4 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. I would just be clarified to say that I do apologize for the delay. I did warn everyone before this episode, during the last episode review, that the next few will be a little bit difficult to release, as I had social commitments that prevented me from recording it, at least in my general time frame of being live. And it sadly will continue, as you know, I'll mention this again. This coming week, I will be going off on a trip back to the West Coast, so I will not be available. Again, I could technically record it while I'm over there to keep up with being on schedule. However, I do want to try and enjoy myself this vacation, as I've been a little bit semi-vocal. My last one was kind of bad, so I really want to make this one very good and very fun. So that requires me to just turn off work, turn off my hobbies, just enjoy my time in another area of the world. So we will return with more Walker reviews next week, where I think we should have 3 in total. I believe so. Actually, no, but we'll be delayed in the one. That one should be out hopefully by Tuesday, and then the next one would be back at its regular time slot. So yeah, so again, I do apologize. However, that's just the status may be, so I do apologize. But however, after I come back, we should just be very much a straight traditional run until the very last episode of the show at the end of the month. So yeah, so with that being said, thankfully with this episode, I was not spoiled. Thankfully much. I was very much off social media a lot this past couple days, so thankfully it helped me build up a little bit of of suspense of how we were going to come back into it. This is the beginning of the end. We're in the final stretch, the final 5 episodes of the season. We're starting to paint a pretty good picture of how it's all going to wrap up. It's a bit weird because I'm very hopeful. Again, I said this before a couple times, where like the way season 4 will end is going to kind of be like a pseudo semi-finale, a series finale. Even though that this wasn't originally 100% planned to be the last season, they were hoping for more. But again, it is what it is, sadly. I am seeing how they would push certain things, but I really hope that the traditional Walker format of we'll get the finale to the story arc on the 10th episode, which will be next week. And then the last 3 will kind of be like wrapping up the overall story of the whole season, which I don't think so, considering the fact the way they have things set up now. I would expect there to be like maybe up to episode 11. I'm not sure, because considering that we still have 2 very big storylines to resolve, both the Jackal storyline and the Necklace storyline, that I don't quite think they're going to wrap everything up by next week. I don't believe so. I do believe they'll delay it a little longer, maybe work some things around. Like these last 4 episodes are very crucial. This being much more of like we're really like gearing up. Everyone's starting to like really turn their heads on the overall problems we've been presented with this season. And definitely from that front, I was very happy to see certain confrontations, certain decisions being made, very risky ones. And again, we're just a matter of like, we're still like, we know this is the finale, we know this is the end, that I'm really hoping to make some pretty difficult calls. Like, I'm not one for being all despair and darkness, but I'm like, again, like this being a more of a, I don't know. I don't quite know. I don't think this will be a happy ending for everyone. I don't think so. I think someone's gonna get hurt really bad. But at least that's like kind of the vibe I'm getting off the both of the lines we've been getting, especially with Cordell and Stella kind of approaching similar paths, if not a little bit differently. And I just can't wait to see how it's all going to wrap it up as we gear up to a close. So with that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin with a bit of a weird slideshow montage where we're kind of like, it's very much early in the morning, 5 a.m. Everyone's kind of like waking up, kind of like beginning to do their own activities, doing their own storylines. It's almost all hands on deck this week, as we, again, setting the stage for the end. Mainly Cordell kind of following his new current order of things, where he wakes up, he gets a coffee, he immediately goes back to the Jackal board and sees what is he missing, what is the key thing he's missing to like really progress throughout the case. James is improving a lot. He is now kind of becoming his old self again prior to the whole season beginning. Just his strict yet lovable, funny self at times. He is very much getting back to there. Cassie and Trey kind of like, again, just being traditional Rangers, just like kind of waiting for the next day of the mission. Stella and August meeting up for coffee to begin their now very much dead set timeline to find the necklace. Grandma Walker finally back in town, but there's still kind of some lingering things that we still got to take care of right there. So yeah, all that to be said and more. We cut over to the Ranger HQ. I want to say that's the first proper scene, or it could be Stella and August. I'll flip between the two. It's Trey and Cassie first. They're kind of just jostling up because they just both got the official approval that they're going to have the lieutenant's interview in about 10 days. So this is like the next step for them to getting that position. And they're kind of both very much excited about it. Again, not quite sitting in there, both fighting for the same position. They're still like jostling around like it's a regular competition, but this is a big deal. This is a pretty big promotion. So definitely whoever gets this is really going to like, get all the accoutrements, just the perks of like, progressing for their career, while the other one's kind of like got to wait for the next opening to line up, and who knows God how far that will be. Meanwhile, Stella and August are reiterating they have a deadline. They have until like 6 p.m. tonight to find the necklace. They are very much closing in on the wire. And there's just a matter of, the letter that they got from Hoyt, well, sort of, has kind of not led them anywhere. It kind of seems like there's just like, very much forcing some context clues. Like, they're reading specific wording that Hoyt wrote up, and they assume maybe it could be their household's fireplace as a potential hiding spot, which would be a little too easy, mind you. But I'm like, you know what? It is definitely a possibility, so to speak, of where that could possibly be located. Then we cut back open to I want to say, yeah, it's also like Trey and Cassie also knows. Yeah, it's pretty empty today. Like, there's no one here at the HQ. Like, what's going on over here? What's going on? And apparently, James has sent everyone home to work from home or work offsite, as this is a very critical moment, and they needed to dedicate all their remaining resources to this assignment, as Cordell is in the middle of being talked to by Jerry. Which, again, the way they kind of framed this was kind of like, they're having the breakup talk. Like, Jerry's back in town finally. She had a very promising development in OKC. There is a contractor. There is some very well done news for that front, and there is a very definite strong possibility they might be able to open up the second side step within the next 3 months by this current level. And Cordell, obviously being more still focused on the Jackal case, is just being a very bad boyfriend, being a very bad partner, just not listening to her, just like kind of nodding along, saying very basic things to kind of keep the conversation moving. Jerry eventually catches on, and she's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to go back to the house. You go focus on your case, and we'll meet up later. And she also is very much, again, trying to think of post-Jackal cases that, all this extra hours that Cordell's working, that he should, really, start using those vacation time, once, the case is over for them to, like, kind of, have their moment together. Like, they still got some things to talk about. So definitely this, once this entire case is over, they'll be able to, like, power through. So once everyone's like all hands on deck, James does give them the news that sadly, DPS is a little bit unimpressed with the recent lack of developments on the case. Of course they found the hideout. That's great. They found some brand new evidence. That's great, but it's not the big thing. They want a real big smoking gun to really like kind of keep it in-house on the local level before they transition it over to the FBI. Which, again, everyone's kind of bummed about, and especially Cordell's like, no, we're so close. We need more time. And they're like, okay, yeah, well, we need to buckle on today. And ironically, by 6 p.m. as well, we need to have some sort of new major development that's going to, like, maybe not break the case, but will be enough to kind of keep it in-house for now. And so they got to really, like, power deep and, like, figure that shit out going into it. Grandma and Grandpa Walker finally have a very long-awaited conversation about their retirement, and they're trying to figure out exactly what do they want out of their retirement. What do they want to accomplish? What do they want to do? There's a lot of things that they want to at least get on the same page about before officially, vacating their roles in the current businesses of things. However, sadly, Grandpa Walker's just like he's not really on board with this idea because like he just doesn't want to like think about it, as well as him knowing that like Grandma Walker's kind of still progressing with the wedding front with Ben, that isn't entirely in his bones right now to like really like negotiate this sort of thing. Grandma Walker, noticing this, asked Liam to kind of like be the mediator between them as they work through these retirement negotiations to see is like, as long as we're in the same footing, that we should be fine to progress forward. But definitely he needs like a middleman to like kind of like keep the conversation moving along, and Liam begrudgingly agrees to it. Stella and August return back home. They look at the fireplace, look using some special fancy UV lighting, and they do manage to find some sort of fingerprints on there. However, Jerry manages to come home at the nick of time, and Jerry quickly switches the conversation over to when the last time they were in the same room together about the whole, her moving in and everything, that she at least wants to like, clear the air, have some lunch, like, just really kind of buckle down to it. Stella begrudgingly agrees herself to like kind of volunteer to like, be the person going to the market, getting some, getting things ready for their lunch, as August continues to try and like pluck out this rock from the fireplace. Back at Ranger HQ, they're still looking for every little lead possible, but sadly there just is really nothing credible right now that they're coming up with. So once things kind of get a little bit tense as they're trying to, as Trey and Cassie are kind of like, disagreeing on research patterns and everything, Cordell uses his opportunity to kind of like, diffuse the situation, say, hey, let's go on a break. Let's get some fresh air, and we'll reconvene back on that once we have a little moment to like kind of like, recuperate and like refresh the mind a little bit. Which sadly that also says Walker's is not in most of the episode, which I'm just like, huh, they're really trying to shotgun down the lead. Damn. I believe we get to Grandpa and Grandma Walker's negotiations, and they're a little bit not too kind to Grandpa Walker off the get-go. Apparently, Grandma Walker would want to invest more property value into the ranch by installing official bathroom stalls throughout the ranch for the business. And Grandpa Walker's like, no, like this is going to cost way too much money. The drainage, the equipment, the construction, which I'm like, y'all building a bathroom facility. I don't quite think this is going to take too much time of your day. But however, he disagrees. He eventually just pulls out the whole negotiation. Like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm out. Like, give me some time to think about it. Give me some time to think about that. That'll be key for later on. Trey and Cassie kind of like, josh around a little bit, just kind of how things are standing right now with the whole lieutenant's position. Even them trying to break into like a vending machine, trying to like, break into some snacks while Captain James kind of watches them like, yeah, are you sure? I'm not 100% sure this is lieutenant material right here. It's just a joke, but he's still saying like, yeah, these two are like, in the top gears for like, getting the role and everything. And, that it's time for like some new blood to come in, that's the old, as the current lieutenant is kind of part of the old brass and everything. So him having like kind of like a new face to things would kind of like, really invigorate things around here, especially as they progress more further into like, modern techniques and stuff like that. Even them getting a scene at the current lieutenant's office as they kind of like, both have a kind of like, they state their reason to like why I think story-wise they're at the point in their lives where they should get this position. Trey having gone through so many career changes, so many job roles, so many like different allocations in his life in the past 5 years, that maybe him being in the Rangers, the next step is for him to finally take a authoritative position and be a lieutenant. While Cassie, again, like, finally deciding to really set like some roots down in Texas, like this position would lock her in here for so many years that, definitely this is another role that she would love to have, to get into things. But it's still anyone's game to who would be picked eventually. Eventually Trey and Cassie return back to the meeting with Sans Walker, and they look into some things, and Cassie had this like very like spontaneous idea of like, what if we don't look at what's connected by them, but what isn't connected by them, as majority of the people on the list are parents. But they're not like, defined by, certain genders or ethnicity, background, culture, it's just like random. But the only common factor between most of them is parents. But there was one outlier that kind of didn't really fit the bill, who apparently had a recent court case that was sealed up. Thankfully, James manages to expedite that and get the materials in for them. And apparently, once they look into it, it is just an accidental death in the lady's pool. However, she did own a daycare, making her a caregiver, making her responsible for taking care of kids, which is kind of the same thing as being a parent. So now that they have the entire MO figured out, now they're like kind of one step closer to really trying to figure out who exactly the type of person the Jackal is. And obviously this is a big win. Immediately James contacts DPS, trying to make sure they get the approval to kind of allow them to continue to develop the case in-house, which hopefully does stick around. Jerry does have some sweet bonding moments with damn, I forgot their names. Stella and August, you know, kind of giving them a little bit of like a deja vu to when their mom was still alive. Again, Jerry and Emily being so close that I'm not surprised certain attributes carry over to them. And, you know, they're making a homemade pasta lunch. It's very sweet. Even Stella decides to use this opportunity to like really get into about, you know, Hoyt and Duke and like that whole history. And while she doesn't delve too much into the Duke side of things, she does tell more about Hoyt's backstory where, yeah, Hoyt had a very difficult child growing up. He mainly tried to stay at the Walker Ranch as much as he can, but, you know, back home it was kind of like a shit show. A lot of times they were very much targeted by police, you know, a lot of the times. And at the time, Hoyt did have a very valuable antique, an artifact, the necklace in his possession, and they took it away from him to pay off some of the debts. And, yeah, it was a very sad time for the Rollins clan, and definitely now they kind of got a motive to reason to why Hoyt would want to take back the necklace and everything. So, but considering the fact he's gone, where's the necklace now? Again, who really knows what the hell's going on here? Thankfully, Stella and August managed to get an opportunity to leave everything, even though that this newfound information doesn't really entirely set things into stone. And they do a little online search, and apparently they do find out that Joanna is actually a Rollins. So the assumption is she is Hoyt's mom. She kind of fits the range. I'm not 100% sure. It could be the sister as well. I don't really know 100% really. But considering the fact they mentioned it's the mom, I'm pretty sure it's the mom. Again, sadly, August does get a little set bothered by this, considering the fact that, you know, she's related to our uncle and she's trying to kill us. Like, I don't really know how I'm supposed to, like, you know, take that sitting down. Stella tries to like reason with him, like, you know, this doesn't change anything. We still need to progress forward with finding the perpetrator, finding the necklace. We're trying to get this all set out. But August is like, no, we need to get the family in on this. We need to figure out, you know, maybe there's another way we can settle this without finding the necklace. And Stella's like, no, you know, this is my matter. This is Sadie's matter. Even though Sadie's not here, let us handle it. Let me handle this. This is my decision. And eventually the two decide to split off and, you know, decide to do their own things. August smartly going straight to Jerry and just letting her know, like, yeah, something's wrong, and, you know, we need to get Uncle Liam looped in on things. Liam, however, is busy with Grandpa Walker as, you know, they talk again about just the state of affairs. And, you know, Grandpa Walker now finally back on the mood of like trying to retire, you know, after so many times he said, yeah, we should retire. Yeah, we should retire. Now that he's finally in the station of like, yeah, I want to retire. Like, you know, he misses like the days of like, you know, that, you know, where Grandma Walker used to be, where like she was clamoring for excitement. And he remembers when they went to Italy together, there was like that very special moment where, like, you know, everything was right in the world. Everything was so calm, so peaceful, so carefree. And like, he thinks this is how he can get back to things. This is how he can, you know, get back to where they were before. So that definitely percolates a little bit of a jogging in his brain. Back at the station, you know, they got the approval for everything, that the case is still under the jurisdiction. They have more time to solve this case in-house. Cordell immediately comes in as soon as, you know, he kind of gets the inkling of the news, and he's like, oh, that's great. I should have been here to crack this with y'all. You know, we're a team. However, Cassie kind of shoos away the other men to like have a one-on-one with Cordell. She does call him out on his bullshit when, you know, Cordell's using the sidestep as an excuse for his recent disappearance today. And she's like, nope, that's not true. You doing something else. You're becoming way too obsessed with this case. It's becoming very dangerous, not just for you, but for everyone else. Like, you know, as much as, you know, finding the base and everything was a win, you know, you got hurt and it could have been someone else. Maybe the next time we're getting close to the Jackal and someone gets hurt, it may not be Cordell. It could be someone else, and it could be even worse. It may not even be an injury. It could be death. And I'll all be on Cordell because he did not think properly. He did not remember that there are other people on his team that he has to think about their well-being. And, you know, as much as it's important to find the Jackal and put him down, it's also important to keep the team safe, like to avoid casualties, to avoid all those issues. And Cordell is like kind of like even I'm calling on his bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. You are right. I will not do this again. And I'm just like, dude, you were just asking for it. Like you were just gone. So like Cocoa Pups. Even like Cassie has to tell Trey, yeah, something's wrong with Walker, but right now we'll have to see how things progress. Cordell was on his way out as James got the news that they're going to do a press conference tonight, and that he really wanted Trey and Cassie to be the one to presenting to it. But however, since this all began with James starting this case many years ago, it has to be him to deliver this big piece of news. Which again, it would make sense if it was like the ending. But it's just a random update, so I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. James runs outside to pick up his notebook from Cordell. Cordell says, "Oh no, I don't got it. Don't worry, I'll bring it by tomorrow." And James kind of getting worried, so he looks at the car and he's like, "My notebook's over there. Can I just get it?" And Cordell kind of just feels like very much like a child. He's like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot, a long day." And he begrudgingly gives him the book. And then, sadly, Cordell does not have that anymore to his possession. But, however, he has made a reservation at an inn that I believe is the same one that Cassie and Luna investigated a few episodes ago. So he's still hot on the Jackal's trail. So like now it's a bit more concerning, mind you, for Cordell's deception going way further down the rabbit hole. Grandpa Walker pitches to Grandma Walker about their retirement. They're like, I have an idea that, it was Italy. Italy was like when we were the most happiest, that we need to just get back to that point. So I bought us a boat and we're going to sail, and it's going to be for the whole family. And this is going to be great for us and for our retirement. But however, Grandma Walker kind of like interjects and like, says like, this is the problem. We're doing things because you want to do it. You're choosing for us to go on retirement because you want to, not when, let's say, I wanted to years ago. It's always been when Grandpa Walker wanted to do it. And maybe something, Grandma Walker is like at times that felt unfulfilled, not in that way, but just like, in life, and, her now having the wedding business is kind of like something she can really be proud of, that this is her own thing. And, her giving it up so soon is kind of like, is not fair. And especially that Grandpa Walker made this very big investment without consulting her and everything. And like, it kind of like leaches back to the problem where like, Grandpa Walker should have really like, maybe bit the bullet earlier. But like, again, it's just kind of the same thing with a lot of hard-headed men. They're not going to realize until it's after it's too late for it. So outside of Grandma Walker walks away from it. This was around the same time that August tells Liam about the whole thing going on, that Stella's been hiding a lot of secrets from them, hiding a lot of things from them. And, thankfully she manages to be in the area when they confront her, just saying that, okay, time's up. We know something's going on. We don't know the full details of it, but like, we know you've been hiding stuff from them. We know that everything that's been happening has, reflected since, the night of Jerry. So now it's time. You got to come forward. Kind of like, you need to start explaining the truth right now. And Stella's just like, okay, I will. But like, this is a lot to take in. I'm like, how is this a lot to take in? They literally just told you the jig is up. It's not like you got an info drop. They're about to get the info drop, not you. So, eventually she settles and she's like, okay, let me go and relax a little bit, give me a minute, and I'll come back down and we'll talk about it. And however, Stella's like, nope, I got a deadline. I don't got time to talk about this. I need to go now. So she starts packing her bags, jumping out the window, and driving off away to go off to Orange Valley, where she apparently found out that there is a house out there that, may relate to possibly where the necklace might be. It's probably the old Rowling's home, which again, why would you go back there? I'm really sure. But, either way, Stella's on a mission. Grandpa Walker's now depressed once more, and Cordell's officially gone off the deep end. But what the heck happens next? What would our characters deal with next? Who the hell knows? But that was it for this week's episode of Walker. For me personally, I feel like they wrote this episode just the right way. Where like, I am excited to come back to it once I come back from vacation, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I just want to know how much further. I have a feeling Cordell's just not done yet. He's not done going off that deep end yet. I don't think so. Same with Stella. The Grandpa Walker stuff, like again, it kind of feels like a shoehorn in last minute. Just like a lot of things sometimes feel like when you're like progressing through like an ensemble cast, trying to give everyone some purpose in the season. I really like the confrontation between Cordell and Cassie, even though that didn't really solve the problem. It did like at least make Cordell aware, like, yeah, they're paying attention. They know something is wrong. This isn't exactly a easy done kind of thing. Same with Stella kind of getting caught red-handed, with the whole thing, with the necklace. They're not surprising that Joanna is a Rowlings. I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, I wasn't gonna be like, oh well, that's not like totally surprising. There has to be a reason she has like some sort of like real value into this sort of thing. So hopefully nothing bad happens from it. Going into it, and Grandpa Walker being depressed. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is why communication is key in relationship. You gotta talk. You gotta freaking talk. That's the only way you're gonna be able to get through this. That's the only way. But no, for me, I'm very excited to see how they're gonna wrap it all to a close. I am very still sad that we are coming to an end to this story, and I hope they get to wrap it up right. I hope to wrap it up to a close at a very nice, have a very nice landing. Again, this being not the 100% like true plan, but again, it is what it is, sadly, about that front. But with that all being said, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Walker. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, as always, but I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's to Do from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the final season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's to Do beside our Walker episode reviews. Right now, we are wrapping up our rookie coverage for the year. Next time will be our rookie season 6 spoiler-free review. Then after that, it'll just be Walker for a while. Not too long, but still a while. Yeah, but again, but until then, we still have a few more weeks to go. We still have 4 more episodes to review. Then the season review, and then that will be sadly it for the live content ever for Walker. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other, and as always, peace out.